And so, as it stands now, yes, immigration law is clearly given to Congress. It is Congress which has the ultimate control over immigration and immigration procedures. But as I said, what is changing now is the procedures. Who can be arrested? What forms do you need to file to get the relief that you want? The fees to pay, where to pay the fees, and how. And therefore, a lot of people have been of the view that given what is going on, or even the diversity visa lottery, I'm sure they've cancelled it. They have not cancelled diversity visa lottery. Filing for family who are outside the country is still going on. You can file for your spouse or your child who is in the United States if you qualify, and they are also eligible to receive benefits here. So all of that are still in place. It is just that they are using scare tactics, and the American people understanding what it means to stand by and let others suffer have pushed back, and I give them a lot of credit. I think white people who ordinarily shouldn't have been bothered saw the need to stand up on behalf of immigrants, and they have pushed back, and therefore, as of now, things have subsided substantially in most of the sanctuary cities: New York, Newark, Baltimore, Philadelphia. The sort of arrests that we saw earlier in this administration have subsided a lot. Okay. Another area, or why the procedures are now being changed in favor of the administration, is that even Congress, when they make the laws concerning the immigration, they give a lot of room to, quote unquote, the Attorney General. The Attorney General is the head of the Department of Justice. And I mean, the ordinary person thinks that when we say immigration, where you go for your interview, for your marriage petition, and the immigration judge that people are referred to for asylum and deportation, they are all under immigration. No, immigration court is under Department of Justice, while USCIS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, is under the Department of Homeland Security. So a lot of the powers that were given to the Attorney General is what is now being expanded. And so what we are seeing now, for example, is that at first you go for your marriage petition, the officer says there's a problem with the answers that you and your spouse gave, or some of the documents you brought did not check out well, and therefore they deny. In most of the sanctuary cities like New York, they just shelve the file. Right now, the Attorney General's policy is, if you don't heal your denial within 30 days, you are going straight to immigration court. You don't get to loiter around and say, you know what, I have a 5-year work permit, I'm going to work just let me continue working, and then later I will sort myself out. Within 30 days from the date of your denial, your file is going to be sent to immigration court. And therefore, we are advising people that if you get any notice of intent to deny, or a letter asking you to bring anything to support you, or even if the denial, make sure you act on it. Don't relax, because before you realize, your file is going to immigration court, and it changes the ball game entirely once you're in immigration court, because you don't have the luxury of avoiding to appear or asking for adjournments ad infinitum. Okay. Then one area of concern that one issue is coming. One issue that is coming in front of us a lot now is those younger brothers and sisters of ours who came in with student visas. Right now, they are very strict. They are very strict on those who came in with student visas but did not report to the schools. If you don't report at all, they will know where you are, because once you enter with a student visa, you are given what is called a service number, SEVIS number, and that number is used to track your movement. A lot of people have been amazed that they were living in a different state altogether from where they said they were going to school, and then they heard a knock on their door. Because they are tracking people who are coming in with student visas a lot. So advise your brothers and sisters who are coming in with student visas that they better report to the school. I mean, even if you do at least one semester, that's better. But not reporting to the school at all or dropping out unceremoniously is not a good idea, because right now they are very strict on them. Then we want to also comment on this issue which everybody is now talking about, that when my children went for their interview in Ghana, my husband went for his interview in Ghana, they said everything is okay, but they didn't give it to him, or they denied them. Well, I'm sure by now a lot of you have heard that the president said there should be a halt of issuance of immigrant visas from 75 countries, including Ghana. What does that mean? What it means is that, according to the president, statistically, people from these 75 countries, including Ghana, have been using a lot of government assistance when they arrive in the US. So when we talk about government assistance, what we are referring to basically is food stamps, Section 8 vouchers for housing, Medicaid, Medicare, and a lot of government benefits. So what they are saying is, we can't have people coming in from these countries and then only to end up relying on the American taxpayer for their sustenance. And therefore, the president has issued a directive to halt issuance of immigrant visas to people from those countries. Please, it is not a denial. And for those of you who have followed immigration keenly, when he came during his first administration, he tried something of that nature. He didn't specifically call it a halt or a bar, but rather what he did was that he astronomically increased the threshold for you to file an affidavit of support on behalf of your family member. And therefore, most people could not even get to that threshold, and those cases were all shelved. But thank God, when the Biden administration came, they reversed the order, and that was why a lot of people were able to eventually come in. And so assure your family members who are in Ghana and who are so depressed that they went and they got denied, or that it's not a denial. We know that eventually that halt is going to be they're going to overturn it. They are going to overturn it one way or the other. And so when the person has an interview, please don't discourage them from going. A lot of people are like, why should he spend money to travel from Kamale to Accra only for him to be denied, or to be told that we are sorry, we cannot issue you. Please let the person go through the process. Let them appear for the interview. Eventually, the file is going to be cleared for issuance of a visa when the hold is lifted. Okay. And so those who are also holding off filing for family members, that's not a good idea. Go ahead and file. Once you begin the process, the priority date starts running. So if you file your document today, you can be assured that you will always be in line ahead of those who file tomorrow. And therefore, holding your hands and saying you are not going to do anything about it is not the way to go. Okay. Now, the other issue that a lot of people have is the way there is so much delay in calling family members for their interviews at the foreign embassies. Yes, we have people who have come in and said, I submitted all my documents. They told me everything is fine more than 2 years ago, and I'm still waiting. And a lot of it has to do with the way the American embassy in Ghana shut all their procedures during the COVID. The COVID really did us a lot of harm. Other embassies, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, they were operating with limited staff. But the American embassy in Ghana is basically shut down, and therefore there's a severe backlog. But please don't give up when they ask you to submit any document. You just go ahead and submit it. Eventually, your relative is going to be called for their interview in Ghana. Okay. And then also, let's come to what is going on in terms of the marriage petitions, which a lot of people use in order to be able to get their green cards. Right now, the administration has decided that all married couples who file petitions on behalf of each other are going to be interviewed within 90 days. And so, unlike first when you could relax, put in your petition, have your work permit and your social, you begin working, file taxes, and you are called for the interview maybe a year plus later. Right now, forget about getting a work permit. You are going to go for the interview shortly after you do the fingerprints. And so what we are advising people to do is make sure you take your time, gather some documents in your joint names. I know it's difficult because the other party doesn't even have anything. You don't have an ID, you don't have a social. So what kind of documents can we gather? Pictures. You don't need social to take pictures. And then also, if the other party has bank accounts, there's a lot of banks which will allow you to add your spouse to your account, even if they are undocumented or all they have is just their expired passports. Things like Costco, BJ's, and other store cards, Macy's cards. If the person is paying certain bills for the address, let's see, Connect Edison, or electric bills, cable, a lot of these service providers, if you ask them to add the other party's name as part of the address, they will comply. It's going to be Miss Alberta X, care of Mr. Felix Y, and then the address follows. Immigration will accept that. So we are asking people to give themselves maybe 3 to 4 months after they get married, get a few documents together before you begin the process. So then when you are eventually called for the interview, about 3 months after putting it in, you will have some decent documents to present to the officer. Other than that, you are just going to go empty-handed, and that's not going to look good. Finally, I want to touch on criminal consequences for immigration. At first, the law was very clear that for an immigrant to have a negative experience with immigration or any immigration benefits, the law was very clear about the offense that the person must have committed. Either they must have been two misdemeanors arising from the same transaction, or a felony. In other words, if what you did was not a felony, or there were not more than 2 misdemeanors in one occasion, you could get waived easily. Given the way the rest, especially, have decided to cooperate with immigration, right now you cannot be complacent. We have people who had minor traffic violations, went to the courthouse to pay the fine and never came back. And so everybody must be cautious in this environment. Avoid as much as possible any situation which will attract the attention of the police. If it is some kind of a rowdy public gathering that you find yourself at, please just step back, avoid anything like DUI, driving under the influence, or any kind of um, traffic offense which will bring you to the attention of the police. Because given or depending on where you are, if you are in some place in Wyoming, or I mean, you could easily get reported to immigration for just such a simple infraction. I mean, thank God we in New York and some of the cities up here, we have what is called a sanctuary city status, and therefore the cities do their best to avoid bringing in the police in such minor cases. But you never know where you will find yourself, and so we are entreating everybody in this particular environment to be cautious that you don't do anything that will bring you to the attention of the police. At this stage, I will say that was going to be the final, but recently I've had 2 or 3 issues related to citizenship which I believe would be good to bring up. Number one, if you were somebody who entered the United States initially with an asylum application, or tried to do something that was unsuccessful, later you apply for the diversity visa lottery, or you got married and you got your green card, don't think that the first application you did is dead. Right now, you have very enhanced fingerprints and facial recognition technology, which is able to detect all the fingerprints that you have done under the different names. And so let's say you entered 1995, said you are Kwesi Addo, and then you apply for asylum, date of birth 4th March 1960. Later, that being unsuccessful, you got married, and in 1998 you said you are Robert Ofori, and then date of birth 10th August 1964. You have had your green card since 98, and so you want to file for citizenship now. Trust me, that special name in 1994 is waiting for you. So I am advising people with multiple identities in their history not to attempt filing for immigration for citizenship. Yeah, it's better for you to hold on until the environment is safe, because what they will put you through, I mean, it's not a pleasant experience at all. And then also, a lot of people being under the impression that going for the medical exam to say that you have difficulty remembering stuff is an antidote to not studying or not being educated. Please don't waste your money. I've seen people who have paid 800 plus to go for that medical report. Trust me, the officers have been trained. You know when the person didn't go to school or is not educated, and you know when a person is genuinely unable to remember issues, to remember information, and therefore should be exempt from the test. Don't let anybody convince you to go and spend $800 getting this medical report when you know that is not the issue. You have not been able to learn sufficiently to pass. Do your best. Listen, I've seen people who never went to class 1, but because of sheer determination, they're able to pass this test. And so make the efforts, and I think with a little mark, you'll be able to get through. So I will end it there, and then I'll ask my colleague to also bring the issues. So,
okay.
Please mute yourselves.
So, you want me to kick in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so happy and glad that you've made me part of this discussion. Addo-Prempeh is my very good friend. We all went to the same school, as the minister said, and we've been working together over the years. So I was glad when he asked me to join this discussion. What I would like to say is this, ladies and gentlemen, elections have consequences. Can I say it again?
Mm.
Elections have what? Consequences. Unlike Ghana, to me, Ghana, MPP and DC, they are the same. So I don't really worry myself as to who comes to power. But in America, elections have very serious consequences, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. Mm-hmm. That's why we should be very careful whom we vote for. Okay? Supposing Kamala Harris has won the election, we might not be going through what we are going through now. And because Donald Trump won the election, you see what we are facing right now. We saw what happened at, is it Minnesota? How people were being arrested left and right. Some people were killed. Because we have a government in power who is anti-immigrant. We don't want immigrants in this country, Republicans. I'm sorry, I'm not being political. But what I'm trying to say is that elections in America have consequences. And if you have a government in power who is against immigrants, they will do everything within their power to frustrate immigrants. But America was built by us. Our great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers, they built America. So for them not to like us is rather unfortunate. I want to further say that they are talking about undocumented immigrants who are subject to deportation or removal. Ladies and gentlemen, let's try to define who are these undocumented immigrants. Because if you know you are undocumented, then you have to be very careful the way you go about your life. I have a story in the Bible. Sometimes I dabble into ministry, preaching here and there. You know the story in the Bible about when Moses was born? In the book of Exodus chapter 1 or so. The same thing happened. The Egyptians were afraid of the Israelites, thinking that along the line they would join their enemies to fight against them. So they gave an order that if every Jewish woman gave birth to a child who is a son, they should kill the person. Remember the story in the Bible? Hello, are you with me so far?
Yes.
Yes. And they killed as many young Israelite children because they were immigrants living in where? Is it Egypt? Yes, Egypt.
Okay.
But Moses' mother was a very smart, intelligent woman. He was able to hide Moses. And eventually Moses was saved whilst his peers were being killed. In the same manner, I will admonish you that this season of anti-immigrant policies will soon pass. So if you are here, you're undocumented, don't give up. Just be able to keep yourself intact. 3 years of the Trump administration will soon come to an end. And only God knows what will happen thereafter. So when they said somebody is undocumented immigrants who are subject to deportation, who are they? Who are the undocumented immigrants that Donald Trump is looking for to deport? Number one, if you entered America without inspection, and there's a word they call EWI, without inspection, it's like EWI, thief. So, if you are EWI, you came to America without going through the borders. I don't know how you came. Maybe you dropped from heaven, I don't know. Or you came through Mexico. I don't know. I don't know how you came. But if you came here without inspection, then you entered without inspection. And for that reason, you become undocumented. Number two, if you came with visa, maybe, and they gave you 5 years visa, whatever visa they gave you, and you overstay your visa, you become undocumented. Mm-hmm. You know that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes they give you 5 years multiple visa. When they give you 5 years multiple visa, it does not mean that come and stay in America for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. When they give you 5 years multiple visa, it means that within the 5 years you can go and come without going to the American embassy for visa.
Please allow him, please.
anytime you enter, they would ask you how long you should stay. They'll give you maybe 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months to stay. Okay, so if you overstay that visa, then you are falling into the category of undocumented immigrants, and therefore you are subject to deportation. Number 3, if you apply for any immigration benefits and they deny you, and you don't have any application pending, you have become undocumented. So there are 3 categories. Those who enter without inspection, they didn't come here with visa. How they came, only God knows. They know their story. Number 2, you came with a visa, but you overstay your visa. Suppose you have 5 years multiple visa, and you overstay. What you overstay will nullify the 5 years in your passport. I hope you are with me so far. And then number 3, if you have been denied any immigration benefit and you don't have any substantive application pending, you become undocumented. Now listen to me here careful. If you are undocumented immigrant, please watch the following. Like Lawyer Addo-Prempeh said, certain situations will trigger the ICE or immigration to come for you. The criminal offenses Lawyer Addo mentioned earlier on, sexual offenses, fraudulent activities, weapon offenses, drugs, stealing, immigration violations. So if you are undocumented, please, I'm begging you, stay away from criminal activities. It can trigger the machinery for ICE to pick you. Because I said Donald Trump has only 3 years. So behave like Moses. Hide yourself. Don't do that will lead to your deportation. This 3 years shall come to pass. Okay? So please watch out. Now listen to me carefully here. I'm praying that nobody is deported. Anybody who's listening to us, I'm praying that you don't get deported. But for argument's sake, and it could happen that you could be deported. So if you are undocumented and you are vulnerable or you are subject to deportation, please put your house in order. What do I mean by this? Supposing you have children in America who maybe were born here, so the American citizens, or for whatever reason, your children have legal status, but you are undocumented. It's very common. It's called mixed family. You can go to a family. Some are American citizens, some are green card holders, some are also undocumented, but they are all in the family. So mixed family, right? So if you, the parent, you are undocumented, but your children are documented or they have legal status, please put things in place just in case you are deported. What will happen to these younger children you are going to leave behind? Or otherwise, you have to go to Africa with your children. So I will admonish all those undocumented immigrants. You could be picked and deported. You could be picked and deported, but you have children. You have money in your bank accounts. You have assets. What measures are you taking to ensure that in case you are deported, what will happen to your bank accounts? What will happen to their children? What will happen to your fleet of cars? What will happen to you? So it's about time you find a faithful and trustworthy friend, number one, and begin to let him know your situation and what you want him or her to do for you in case you are deported. So that person could take care of your children that you might leave behind. Am I making sense?
Yes.
If you have asset, properties in America, supposing you are when they catch you, you are not going back to your house. Or when they catch you, they are taking you to wherever they will take you, and then they will deport you. Meanwhile, you have cars, you have properties, you have money in your bank accounts. And if you don't do anything about it, you are going to lose all these precious assets. So find someone to take care of your children. If you have bank accounts, what must you do? Because if they deport you, nobody can go for the money. Nobody can go for the money. So some of the things you could do, if you know somebody that you trust, you can add him to your account to be joint account owner. Joint. Yeah, because if the account is joint, then either of us can access the money, right? So if you have a friend you can trust, like the way I trust like Addo-Prempeh, I can add him to my account. Make sure you don't withdraw the money without my consent. Even though we are all joint account owners. So you can add somebody to your account as an joint account. So that in case you are deported, the person can have access to your money and send it to you in Africa or wherever you might find yourself. If you have houses or properties, please do likewise. Find someone who can manage or take care of the property, who can even sell it and send the money to you. If you have car, for example, you have to think about it. Otherwise, they will deport you and you will lose all these assets that you have worked over the years to acquire, which is not nice. Right? And one other thing I want to add to this aspect is that because of what is going on right now, I will admonish all of you to carry some form of ID with you. Actually, by law, if you're a green card holder, you are supposed to carry your green card with you. I hope you are aware of that law. Because of what is going on, please put your green card in your wallet.
Okay.
Because if they come and ransack a place, I don't know who is the green card holder, who is American citizen, who is undocumented. By the time you are able to show who you are, you will spend some number of years or days in prison. So carry your green card with you in case they come to your workplace or they pick you. You can show them your green card so they will know that you are here legally. Even for American citizen, ladies and gentlemen, and you have the U.S. passport card. Carry it with you, or carry anything that will show that you are an American citizen. So when they pick their people, you can show them that you are an American citizen. If at that point in time you don't have nothing to show who you are, by the time you get the something, it might be too late for you. So carry some form of ID with you in this era of Donald Trump.
What
else can I say? Yes, carry it with you. By law, if American citizens, we are not supposed to carry these things, but because we are living in an abnormal times, we have to do abnormal things. Carry some form of ID with you to show that you are here legally. And then listen to me again. If you are here on a visit and the duration for your stay is still valid, carry your passport with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Carry your passport. The passport with your visa, they gave you 6 months. You are still within the 6 months, so you are here legal. If your duration of your stay has not expired, you are not undocumented. Or you came with a visa, they gave you 6 months to stay. You are in the 3rd month, so you are still here legally, right? That passport with you, just in case something happens, you can show that you are not undocumented, because they are looking for undocumented immigrants. So why do you put yourself into that category if you can establish that you are here legally? So carry that passport also with you. What again? I think I've said enough, and I'll rest my case and allow Lawyer Addo-Prempeh to take over. I'll rest my case.
Okay. Already we are 53 minutes in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is touch on just a couple of particular applications, bring up best practices, and then we will open the floor for questions. Number one, those of you who had the 2-year conditional residence now filed for removal of condition. A lot of people come to us and they are so frustrated. I put this thing in more than a year and a half ago. I am not hearing anything. All they gave me was this extension for 4 years. Yes, the fact of the matter is that the I-751 or the petition to remove condition on residence, that is from the 2 years to 10 years, it is hopelessly backlogged. Why? Because it is only one office in the whole United States. only one office handles all these applications, and therefore there is this backlog to the point where once you submit the application, the extension you get is for 4 years because they do not want you to come bother them. That's how long it's taking. What we are advising people to do is take advantage of the law. And what is the law? The law is that 3 years after you got the 2-year card, that is roughly a year after you put in for the 10-year card, you become eligible for citizenship.
Exactly.
So let's say you got the 2-year conditional residence card on 3rd August 2023. And so you put in the 10-year petition sometime in the summer of 2025. So now you are nearing 3 years of being a conditional permanent resident. You qualify to file for citizenship. However, and that's a big however, they are looking out for certain things if you are going to be able to get the citizenship in 3 years. Number one, joint taxes. I've seen a couple who have 2 kids because they didn't file their taxes together. One was denied. So long as you file the taxes together, all the other joint documents are still in place: bank accounts, lease, utility bills, life insurance. You can get your citizenship in 3 years. So you don't even have to wait all that time for the 10-year card to come in. And so that's something that we are encouraging people to take advantage of, and it has worked well. The only difference is that when eventually you are called for the interview, it's going to be a 2-part interview. They will interview you to establish that you are eligible for the 10-year card, and then after that, some of the officers, they will let your spouse go out and say, I'm done with you. Now I'm dealing with your spouse who is filing for citizenship, and then they take you through the citizenship exams and then review the application. And a lot of our clients have been able to get their citizenship without having to wait for the 10 years. Okay. Now, number 2, those of our brothers and sisters who use Mexico as their entry point, right now it's really, really, really tough. Because at first they will just let you come in, let you file the asylum within 150 days, you become eligible for work permits, and then the file will be shelved. Right now, they are calling everybody back, even for those cases which were considered not priority, so they close them. Now, this administration is asking the courts to call them back, even when they had given you what is called administrative closure. They are now reopening these cases. So if you have somebody, or if you know somebody who came through the border, sought asylum, and like he was able to get a work permit, social, and therefore the case is considered closed, please tell them that they must be on the lookout. They call them back to court without their knowledge, and so they should be constantly checking the status of the alien number to see if they haven't been assigned a new court date. And then also, such a person, if they get married and their husband or their wife is sponsoring them, they have to understand that the procedures at that point change a little because of the way they entered. You will have to go to court before you get your green card, and therefore, such a person, it is very good that before you begin anything, you speak to a lawyer.
Okay.
And, I see people are asking about H2 visas. Anytime we are having general discussions like this, because of the nature of the audience, we normally don't go into the employer-related filings because of the way they are specialized. So a lot of people don't seem to be interested in the nuances of the H1B, but whoever is interested in finding more about H1B, E, B, visit, and then you are free to call us or contact us, even if we cannot be of help. Definitely, we will be able to get people that will be able to help you. Somebody also said that we should touch on VAWA. The so the matter is that VAWA became a hot topic due to the fact that a lot of people had no other way of getting documented. Right? The fact of the matter is that if you are somebody who came in without inspection, as my colleague Mr. Awuku alluded to, maybe you found yourself in Europe, and then you had this cousin with a German passport, and says, "Charlie, go and try," and you were able to come in with it. Now you send back his passport to him. You are basically without any proof of how you entered, because there's no way you can go and ask your cousin to bring back the passport for you. No. And I've met a lot of people who are in that situation. You came in with a passport of a friend, a relative. The passport has been sent back, so basically they are without any status. The only situation in which such a person can adjust their status in the country is through VAWA, because VAWA basically is a means by which they forgive your illegal entry. And because of that, it has also attracted a lot of attention, because when they review the documents and the evidence that a lot of people submit, it becomes clear that the only reason that they decided to go for the VAWA is because they had no other choice to get adjusted. And therefore, I will really, really, really advise that if you want to do VAWA, speak to your lawyer. Don't try to do VAWA on your own. It has come back to haunt a lot of people. It's not something that you should do on your own. VAWA in particular is something that you should speak to a lawyer about, because the rules are very specific about who the spouse that you are filing against must be, and two, what evidence do you have that marriage was bona fide. I've seen people think that VAWA is an easy way out. It is not. You really have to know what you are doing before you embark on VAWA. Somebody wanted us to touch on adoption. Okay, before 2015, adoption was pretty straightforward. So the typical scenario will be, I have this cousin of mine was going to give birth, and unfortunately there were complications, so she passed, but the child survived. Or she has 2-3 children, and then she passed, and now I feel so bad because when I speak to family in Ghana, the children are not being cared for well. Let me go and adopt them. Yes, before 2015, all you needed to do was to show that, number one, you are a citizen. Number two, that the children have they are below 16, because that was the threshold. The children are below 16, and then if you have proved that at least one parent is deceased, you could adopt them as orphans. But if both parents were alive, then you could do what is called the open adoption, where you have both parents sign some form of statutory declaration or affidavit saying that they are capable of taking care of the children. You adopt them, you live with them for 2 years, and then you are able to bring them here. 2015 came, and then there was what is called the Hague Convention. Basically, the Hague Convention was brought in place because there were too many incidents of cross-country child abduction. People were able to easily go to, especially poor third world countries, offer parents a little amount of money and say, "Oh, I'm taking your child to America. and then they never heard back from them. So to stem the tide of child abduction, the Hague Convention came in, and in some, what it says is for you to be allowed to bring a child as an adopted child from one country to another Hague country, the adoption must have been done by a recognized adoption agency. So think about it this way. It's like immigration decides one day that before we will accept your petition for citizenship, it must have been prepared by a lawyer. Now, yes, there have been adoption agencies in place for years now, but because before 2015 you could do most of the adoption processes on your own, people didn't need their services. Now the Hague Convention says if you are adopting from a Hague Convention country to the United States, you must have done the adoption through an adoption agency. So the adoption agencies have now come to take the entire process on their own, getting the child's birth certificates, going to the Department of Social Welfare to get clearance, going to the court to get the formal adoption order. When the time comes for the child to go to the embassy, the medical that they do, they pay for all that. Eventually, when the process is approved and you are getting a lawyer to put in the paperwork, they have their lawyers. So basically, at this stage, they have cut off the lawyers entirely, and that is why you don't hear lawyers talking about adoption now. If you have the money, you can go to an adoption agency, but right now, I am told the average fee or the average charge to be able to bring just one child from Ghana is anywhere between 25 to 30,000, and that's why it has become so difficult. But if the adoption was now before 2015, that's the law, but the law is not retroactive. If you adopted the child before 2015, you could still have the chance to bring the child here. Number two, it is not every country which has subscribed to the Hague Convention. So right now, I am doing an adoption by a Guinean grandmother who has adopted her grandson. Because Guinea is not a Hague country, she went through the normal process of just having the court sign off on the adoption, and now she has filed. It's still she has gotten her receipt, and we are waiting for it. So, if you want to do adoption from Ghana, I'm afraid at this point you are going to have to use an adoption agency.
Okay, thank you very much, lawyers. Please, if we would kindly ask that you mute yourself for us. Papalaya, before we go on, let's give people the chance to also ask some questions, then we will continue with those who are typing in. In Timbacho, so opese o asembi sebia obetumi you see emoji na pagya wonsa ana se unim se ne ye na obetumi akasa. So we will take like 3 questions, and then the lawyers will answer for us before we come back to the chat. Emmanuel's iPhone, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Papa. Papa Lawyers, thank you very much. We salute you for this information. My quick information is have 2 ways. One is the power that you were trying to explain. See why na obiya wako the immigration na it's one could be found in Yamam to me. Now say Obuana o ware no na wabuano ensunsuanso ebe na ebeba anase dey no precautions then they say o try say we be taking and minim say what touch the other one, the fear and ye chichi ye ebimu ko mo citizen ye chi wo mo ni ade misra say e hom so say na Ghana for ye mu biye mu free but you say overstand bosubium because a man probably brave panic say we a citizen crave between about whereby you don't have any criminal record and answer unko ya the boni bia ebia o worry and awudinya which also and so ni sequence but yenyanchi wa only problem. These are the 2 subjects or issues I want you to tackle for me.
Papa, do you want us to
Can you
take
translate
class?
the question for because there are other nationals on the platform so that they get the question.
Okay. So I believe the name is Emmanuel, right? Okay. He asked a two-part question. He said that in case you met somebody who has gone through the VAWA process but was unsuccessful, are there any consequences if you should marry such a person and file for them? And then two, he wanted to know what can one do in this environment when there are ICE arrests here and there. Okay. First of all, if a person goes through VAWA and is unsuccessful, they are like anybody else that tried to apply for an immigration benefit and wasn't successful. It does not have any specific peculiar consequences.
We are so no pants. Call PP. Oh my God.
Please, let's mute ourselves, please.
It's okay. Okay. So basically, if only you know what you are doing, you get you marry the person tells you the truth that, listen, I went through this process, unfortunately I wasn't successful. Okay, that doesn't change the rules for both either you or the person. You get married, of course the person must have legally terminated the first marriage, which the power is based on. You get married and then you file a new petition on the person's behalf. If the person at that point have not been referred to immigration court, there is nothing else that we need to worry about. If for any reason the person has been referred to immigration court, then definitely you have to make sure that the case is still active, that the person has not been ordered in absentia. Even if the person has been ordered removed in absentia, there are ways of going about to reopen the case and let it be active. But if the question is there any fear when you have to try and petition for somebody who has gone through the process? No. And it is like any other petition that just got denied. Okay. Now, yes, generally people are worried about the ICE rates and all that. The fact of the matter is that when they started, I mean, nobody pushed them to come up with their rationale for doing that. And I very well remember Christine Noem at that time emphasizing as loudly as she could that they were only targeting the West. Who did they consider the West of the West? People who had criminal convictions and had been let out onto the streets. It is true that the sanctuary cities like New York and other few cities, they could have even gone to the Rikers Island or to a jail. See, bank fraud, check fraud, and then they let the person in to the society. So those were the people that they said they were looking for. Unfortunately, it looks like the numbers were not what they were anticipating. We thought we were going to be roping in thousands of people by the day. And so they ended up now chasing people who have not done anything wrong or never had any encounter with the police. The only crime is they apply for asylum and they were unsuccessful, or that they came in without inspection and therefore they are quote undocumented. That's it. They haven't done anything. So the best practices is please avoid any place where you believe you might bring yourself to the attention of the ICE. If you have to go to the court to pay a fine, find out, can I give the money to a lawyer to pay on behalf? I heard of this story in Baltimore, and I was just so sad. The wife was the one who called just a traffic infraction. The lawyer had called this gentleman and said, young man, your friend is only what, $120. Just write me a check, add $30 or $40 to it, I will go there and pay this thing on your behalf. This young man drove himself. I'm going to pay. He never came back. He never came back. So just use common sense. If it is a situation where you can avoid having to go to court, having to go to a place where you believe there might be ICE agents, or is there anything you can do? Can you send a friend? Can you send a family member? You can do it by yourself. You understand? So just use common sense, and then also as much as possible, where there are demonstrations or places where you believe the police might have to intervene in what is going on, please understand that you are not in the best position to join such groups. Please keep yourself
Mama,
out.
Evelyn, please mute yourself for us, please. Evelyn, there's noise in your background. Please mute yourself, please.
Okay,
thank you very much, Papa Lawyer. I want us to take 3 of those who have raised their hands, and then you answer them together. After that, I'll read some of those in the comments. So if you can take the 3 together, as in this order, Seth will go, Teresa will go, then Mr. Hambo. So Seth, please, and let's be a bit snappy about it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, my question, I just want to find out what's the difference between a case that has been denied and the person is being asked to ask that the case be reinstated and then appealing for the same case.
Okay.
You want us to take the 3 together, or you want?
Okay.
Madam Teresa, can you please go?
So my question is, if someone come here with a visiting visa and I'm trying to I'm trying to appeal for my mom to get a green card. Do you recommend her for her first visit, do the application, or let her go and come in again?
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hambo. The last one, then the lawyers will answer.
Lawyer, right quick, if you don't mind sharing your contact in the chat, and then also for those of us, we're trying to listen. People, we are not on alpha hour, so if you don't know how to be on Zoom, mute yourself. You just step out because it's distracting some of us.
Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and type in my phone number and email. But then, Mr. Tite's question was, what is the difference between appeal and reinstatement? As much as possible, any denier will advise the person that is being denied what steps they need to take. So there are times when, for example, they will ask you to take it, and then they will tell you specifically the form that you need to use. Usually, our appeal is done on a form I-290B, and it is for things like green card and work permits. If a person gets denied the alien relative petition, typically they will have to use the EUR 27, which is the appeal from a decision of the district director. So whichever means by which you challenge the appeal, the success of the appeal will then cause the case to be reinstated. You understand? So it's just a matter of terminology. Let's say you get denied citizenship. You file a form N-336, which is the usual form which is used to challenge denial of citizenship. And then you are sent back an interview to review the reasons why you are challenging the denial. If the second officer decides that, listen, I think the first officer was wrong in denying you, this was such a minor traffic offense, shouldn't have held it against you, it's been more than 4 years, but I'm going to approve you. automatically the case gets reinstated. So it's just a matter of the situation in which you find yourself. But if you are successful in your challenge, whether it's an appeal, whether it's a motion, whatever means by which you challenge the decision, if you are successful, that's when the case gets reinstated. Now, the young lady who was asking about her mom, a lot of the time when people begin the process before the parents or the child goes for the business visa, they are unsuccessful because the idea is your relative has already begun the process of petitioning for you. In this case, it's obvious you did not file anything on behalf of your mom. She went to the embassy and said, my daughter is in the United States, I'm going to visit her. She was approved and now she's here. There is no law which requires her to leave and come back before you begin the process. Maybe she didn't prepare to spend that much time here, and I sense that she probably does not want to wait as long as the process is going to take, and that's why she's not certain whether she wants to remain here for the process to take its course or that she should go back. The fact of the matter is that even child parent petitions are not going very quick. I recently did one. The whole process took not more than 4 months. And so, if maybe the concern is, what if while she's here, the 6 months that she's given expires? No, because you are a U.S. citizen, even if the 6 months she was given expires, she does not become undocumented. The petition that you file for her will automatically pull her status until she gets her green card. So, if you want her to go and have some time in Ghana, sort things out, and come before you do it, fine. Nothing stops you. But the law is clear. If you are a U.S. citizen, you can file for your mother, even if she came here on a 2-week visa. Yes. And then finally, I think somebody was asking about.
We have our place. I have a question.
Like, okay.
Please hold on.
Whether you can travel if you are, or you only have a passport. Is that was that the last question?
No, my question is, I am a U.S. citizen, and I have filed for my brother, and they say it's going to take like 10 years. I filed for him since 2011.
Yes.
I have not had anything. So what do I do, please?
Okay. The average wait time, brother, sister, is about 15 years. If indeed you filed it in 2011, by now, because I did file for a lady, I believe it was early part of 2011. I just received a letter saying that the brother can now go and pay his visa fees. So look into it. By now, 2011, 15 years, you should have received something. You should have.
Any help? You guys can help me out.
Okay, so as I said, I'm going to go ahead and type in our numbers and our email addresses. So after the session, you can email me, and then I'll be more than happy to discuss your issue further with you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question. Please, let me. If you have a question, please use the emoji to raise your hand so that we have orderly manner here. Thank you. Papa Lawyer, please, I'm going to read some theory from the comments before we come to those who have raised their hands. This Sam says that what does it look like for undocumented immigrants to fly locally in the U.S.? And then Kwabna says that, please, what action should you take if you have applied for citizenship, have gone through the thumbprint, and have not heard anything again for close to 4 months? And Fifi says that, I am F1 student. I have my I-20 valid till next year, but I was issued a 3-month student visa last year, July, and single entry as well. I cannot go home to visit my family. or for any reason unless I attend an interview again, not considering the chances of passing the interview. So please, if you can address these three questions, and we come to those who have raised their hands. Thank you.
Okay. The first one was Trump. Okay, Rams, do you want to?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the first one is about traveling in the US with a passport. Yes. Okay. So basically, to be able to get a handle on who is getting on an airplane, that is why this whole enhanced ID thing came about. Basically, the enhanced ID was designed to be able to capture as much information about the traveler as possible. So once they scan the ID, they know what immigration status you have, whether you're a citizen or a green card holder. They know, of course, the address is going to be on the ID and everything. So it's just another layer of assurance that this person who is boarding this plane is somebody that we can easily trace. Now, what if you are undocumented or you are here on a visa? Well, so as my colleague alluded to, let's say you came in a month ago to visit your daughter in New York City, and then 2 months to 6 months stay, you get a call from this old school friend of yours who is in Minnesota to come visit. Yes, you have your passport, you have your visa, you have 6 months, it hasn't expired. The law allows you to use the passports to travel. The law allows you to use the passport to travel if the passport is valid. The danger is where you are completely undocumented because your visa has expired, and that is the only thing you have, because you have to be careful. Certain airports, they are notorious for stopping people whose visas have expired and are trying to get on planes, like Rochester airports. For a long time, they have been very vigilant on those who are traveling with expired visas, and all they have are their old expired passports. They will pick you quickly. Yes, and such a person, I mean, apart from flying, you have to be careful taking Amtrak. Because I've been on an Amtrak where people were picked from the coach I was in, by ICE officers. And you also have to be careful even with Greyhound. If you are traveling, and the Peter Pan buses, if you are traveling through some of these red states, they do have random checks by ICE officers. So you really have to be careful. If you are going to Chicago and you are going to somebody is driving, fine. But to be able to think of using public transportation when your immigration status is not sorted out, I don't think it's a good idea. Environment. Okay, and then somebody said something about
4 months he has applied and done tampering for, he has not heard from
citizenship. Okay. I have a feeling that in your case you may have multiple applications. Maybe you did marriage the first time, it was unsuccessful, and later you divorced and had to remarry. But usually for it to take that long, there must have been multiple files, because the average wait time now for a person to be called for their interview after they do the fingerprints is about 2 to 3 months. Even in states where you have a high immigrant population like New York, and now the whole process on the average is about 4 months. So it may be that it is your immigration history which is delaying it, but whatever it is, you should be expecting to hear from them any moment from now. Okay, I don't really believe it has to do with you or anything that should let you get consent. Maybe it's a matter of procedure, but some.
What about we that have filed? since 2011 up to now. We have not heard anything.
About
Very good. Very good.
2011.
Yeah. Up to now, we have not heard anything.
You are far for your brother?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. As I said, the sibling petition, the average wait time is now 15 years. However, for you not to have heard anything all this time, I mean, are you sure you are the same?
Anytime that I call, we are still in process.
No, so it hasn't been denied.
It hasn't been denied, but it's taking forever. Since 2011 up to now.
So get in touch with the lawyer. When the lawyer write a letter, and then I think it's going to get their attention.
And please, I think you are going to be my lawyer.
Yeah, well,
let me add this to it, ladies and gentlemen. If your car breaks down, you go to mechanic. If you are sick, you go to a doctor. If you need to buy a house, real estate agent. In this era, why should you want to attempt on your own to file your immigration benefits?
I have tried all of the clients.
Please let's allow the lawyers to speak.
That I do, especially the Ghanaian clients, they attempt on their own, and then the paralegal or whoever filled the form, when the time comes for the interview and what have you, they are not able to continue. Meanwhile, the guy has charged him or her money. So when they come, the one I had one about 2 weeks ago, somebody did the filing for him. Now they have to go for interview. So they came to me, lawyer, you have to prepare me for the interview. It's okay, I'll prepare you for the interview, but you have to pay. You know how much I charge him? I charge him $2,000 because I have to prepare them for the interview and go for the interview. Meanwhile, if you have come to see me, maybe my entire charge for the adjustment, maybe $4,000 or even less. Now, let me finish. Now, we may have to go for a second interview. So you think it's going to be free, I will charge again. So my counsel is that as much as possible, even though lawyers charge, we have to charge because, it's not easy to become a lawyer and we need to pay our bills too. It is better to use lawyers or professionals to do stuff for you than to try to use people who are not professionals to do it, or you are attempting to do it yourself and something goes wrong. So I would say that use professionals to do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Please, can we have some decorum? No, please, can we have some decorum?
There is a moderator. Yes,
please.
Moderator. She'll finish what we are saying. So please don't shut it. Because we don't know. That's why we are here. We are here to learn. So give it a clue so that we can, for me, what you are saying right now, I don't know. I've been trying to struggle, whatever, paying blah, blah, blah. But now, no, if I have somebody who can direct me or correct me, I'll be able to follow up. But don't shut me down, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And please, let's try to, there's a moderator, so let's also try to adhere to that. Thank you very much. Papa Lawyer, can you answer the last one on F1 student who has I-20 till next year, but was issued only 3 months visa, and he can't travel out?
Okay. Usually that happens when, basically when you apply to a school in the United States, it is the school which issues what is called the I-20. The I-20 is what you use to go and get your visa at the embassy, wherever you are. So typically, it is the duration of the course that you are coming to pursue, which dictates how much time they give you. So let's say I'm going to do PhD, and it's a 3-year program at, say, University of Nebraska. Chances are that they will give you a 3-year visa, or even if it's a 1-year visa, when you get here, they will stamp your passport DS, duration of stay. Right? I don't know how much you were given when you entered. Do you know? Have you pulled your I-94 to find out how long you were given to stay?
I think the person said the I-20 is valid till next year, but the visa is 3 months.
Uh-huh. That tells me that the course is a very brief course. Let's say it's a language proficiency course, which is not more than 6 months, because if it is a course for which you needed at least a year, they wouldn't have given you that limited time. And therefore, if you need to do anything at this point, your best bet is to speak to the foreign student advisor, the FSA. The foreign student advisor will be the best person to contact in such a case. Be upfront with them. I mean, they are people who usually have worked with immigration before or have had extensive experience with immigration procedures, and therefore, if you open up about your situation, maybe there's a need for you to visit a sick relative, there's an event that you really need to attend, you have the money, but you are afraid that when you leave and you are coming back, you are going to run into problems. The FSA will be the best person to guide you through that.
Okay, thank you. We'll take 3 people in this order: George, iPhone, and then Jerry. George, you can unmute.
All right. Thank you very much. I wanted to know. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The criminal checks or the criminal background, does it include your home country and then the United States? And then the second one is, in case you are due for an interview and maybe your life insurance, you had a life insurance with your partner, but it has not been approved yet by the
Insurance company.
Can you still go ahead? Maybe you have submitted false filing, you added the document because you had a document, but the approval has not come to. What do you do in that situation? Thank you.
iPhone, can you please unmute and go ahead?
Yeah, I want to add a contribution to the guy who asked for waiting for fingerprints or something. My husband filed for his citizenship, and after 6 months is when they called him to do the fingerprint. And after the fingerprint, he waited a whole full year before we got a letter for the interview. So just contributing to his question that sometimes it takes longer time and some people it takes shorter time. So he should just keep waiting patiently and something good might come up.
Thank you. Jerry, can you please unmute and go ahead?
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you. Well, so my question has to do with VAWA. I know that you had mentioned you didn't want to go into specifics, but this is a bit peculiar, and I'm trying to sort other opinions on what to do. I filed, in fact, my entire VAWA case, I used a lawyer, and it's been almost 5 years now that I have been waiting, and they still keep telling us that it's still processing. Like, it looks like I've exhausted all the options. As of beginning of this year, I wrote to the senator of my state, to see what they can do. They also kind of petitioned, but we haven't gotten any feedback yet. So I'm kind of wondering at this point, what actions can I take on this case?
Okay, we'll take the last one. The lawyers will answer. Ralph?
Hello.
Ralph, please go. Ralph?
Yeah, hello, how y'all doing? Yeah, my problem is, thanks for putting on the platform. I just want to know that if you've been here for so many years, I've been here with a visa like 25 years ago, and it's expired, and unfortunately I can't renew my passport for now, and also my ID is expired, and I'm social anyway. to get back and check, or anything about it right now? What is your status on it? You have to start, go back and come back again, or how do I go about it?
Thank you. The lawyers will answer them.
Okay. The last question was what? You say you've been here for 25 years?
Yes.
And so you were undocumented, am I right?
Yeah, my visa expired, yes, yeah, of course, and I've been in the system for a while, and now I'm having issue renewing my ID. I had an ID, but I can't renew it right now because of the work system going on, and can't even pension anywhere, and so look like I'm stuck.
Unfortunately, that's a familiar story.
Yeah,
That's a familiar story because we have people who have been here for even longer. The truth of the matter is that, especially in the early to the late 90s, it was easy to get a social security number. All you needed to do was say, I'm going to open a bank account. People were able to get social security numbers, and then it wasn't difficult getting state ID or other licenses. So we know people who have worked for years without any documentation. All that they had were the state IDs and the social security card. So I believe that was the category in which you found yourself, and because things were so easy, unfortunately, you became a little complacent and didn't set up plans. Now, as you are nearing your retirement age, you feel that you need to wake up and do something about it.
Yeah, about it.
All that work you have done is going to go down the drain. Speak to an attorney. Now, let me go back to the person that's about the criminal checks. Does it include your country? Yes, they do ask when you are, if you are familiar with the questions that they ask for the green card application. They ask, have you ever in or the outside the United States committed any crime or offense for which you were not arrested? Now, have you ever been arrested anywhere in the world? And then I was talking to an officer and I said, do they get people who answer yes to that? They said, well, a lot of the time people just say no. But you never know when something is going to check.
Exactly.
Especially with those who committed the Nazi crimes and ran away. You understand? They thought that was it. And now there's a whole task force which is fishing them out. So if indeed you haven't had any infraction with the law anywhere in the world, what makes you afraid to answer no? I've never been arrested. However, yes, we do have people, especially like those who apply for political asylum. It may be that one of the allegations that were made against you when you were leaving your country was that you had brutalized or you had been a perpetrator of violence against a particular person or group of persons because of political or religious differences. Those things are things that you have to be careful about because they might come up. But it is always better to be upfront that, oh yes, because I was a member of a military regime which overthrew the civilian government, later they were trying to pursue us. Whatever your story is, you can never go wrong by telling the truth. If at a point you believe that it might become an issue and therefore you need to seek the advice of a lawyer, do that. But majority of the situations that we see, people who have been arrested or who have had a criminal infraction in the US, because that is where your fingerprints are being reviewed. If you go do your fingerprints here, there's no way it is going to attract anything from Ghana. No. It is for offenses that you have committed here that comes up. We have had a few cases where, especially with drug trafficking, the person, a green card holder, was coming to the US but was passing through London and had drugs on them, so they ended up being jailed. So in that case, by the time they got here, the government here had been informed that yes, this lady did 6 months here for drugs, and therefore, before she got here, they even knew about it. I don't know, not expected to be such an expansive fishing expedition about your life everywhere you lived. Okay, and you see that you had, let's say you have an interview, and now the insurance company is not able to furnish you with proof. The fact of the matter is that right now, with the advent of internet and all that, the very day you call the insurance company to sign up a policy, they should have something, whether it's through email or fax. They should have something which says Mr. X has taken out a policy with us on such and such a date. So even if it's a one-page document from the insurance company, the insurance officer will take it. At least it is proof that you have made an attempt to get an insurance policy to cover you and your wife, as the case may be. Okay.
And on the insurance, on the insurance, what I've witnessed is that most often you notice that the petitioner, who is American citizen, will be the person buying the insurance.
Okay.
And then he becomes the beneficiary. I don't think that is a good practice. The insurance, you should be the beneficiary. And then the petitioner should be the one who holds the insurance. And you are the beneficiary. Because they don't want you to become a public charge when you become a permanent resident. So you can either, both of you can be beneficiaries and at the same time be the policy holder.
Is that cross
yeah, exactly.
Cross coverage. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. But I mean, by all means, even if you called only yesterday to set up an insurance with, say, Globe, you should be able to get something that will back you up that yes, you have begun the process of purchasing insurance with our company. Now, with the gentleman who is frustrated with the long wait concerning VAWA, as I said, VAWA has become a backlog because it is only one office which is dealing with it, and therefore, with all the tons of documents that they get, they sometimes get overwhelmed. And I wouldn't say I have never heard of a 5-year wait. It's quite unusual. Most of my cases, between 3 to 3.5 years, you will have some resolution. 5 years is a little extreme, but it is not unheard of. So I guess the best thing for you to do is to keep. I mean, I don't know whether you set up an account with the USCIS, so occasionally you can be asking for updates through the account that you created. Yeah, that should work, because it looks like all things being equal right now, those who have opened an account with USCIS are getting like they are getting rapid responses to their inquiries. And so you may want to try that. Okay. Well, that, I mean, I wouldn't say it is unusual. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so finally, and the gentleman who's been here 25 years plus. I mean, as I said, your story is not unique. A lot of people who were able to get social security cards and driver licenses in the 90s, they became complacent. They went without any problems, and now that they are nearing retirement, the reality is setting in that if you don't regularize yourself, all that work you did is going to go down the drain, because that's a law. You are not entitled to the benefits until you are documented. Yes. So please speak to a lawyer, find out what your options are. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, lawyers. We only have 12 minutes and we have a bunch of questions. So I'm just going to mention the lawyers' phone numbers It is in the chat, but because there are a lot of messages, I'm going to mention them again. Then after that, I'll let them give their final remarks because we have only 12 minutes. And I think when you reach out to them, they will be more than willing to help you. So for lawyer Kwadwo Addo-Prempeh, 917, his phone number is 917-400-9407. I repeat again, 917-400-9407. And the email is Addo-Prempeh, ADDOPEE at hotmail.com. At hotmail.com. And for lawyer Ramseyer Awuku, his number is 646-284-2186. I repeat again for lawyer Ramseyer Awuku, his number is 646-284-6186. 2186. Sorry. And his email address is RHAWUKU RHAWUKU at gmail.com. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I'm sure that when you email them or you call them with your questions, they will be more than willing to help all of you. But before we sign off, lawyers, do you want to give us your final remarks based on the conversation that is going on? Let me start from lawyer Ramseyer Awuku.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. Immigration is such a broad area, we can't exhaust all the topics. But my advice is that please seek legal counsel before you make any move. A lot of people call me on my cell phone and they ask me my views on certain things, and I give it to them sometimes for free. Most times it's for free. So in this era, I will not advise you to pursue any immigration benefit without first having an encounter with immigration lawyer for the right thing to be done. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Layado.
Okay. Yes, when I was commenting on the person that was trying to get us to talk about the H2 business, I said the employer-related filings are a little technical, and therefore, if you don't hear us talking about them here, it's because, number one, most people do not fall into that category, and
exactly.
Even if they did, trying to explain the nuances on this forum is not going to be beneficial. Please find the time to talk to us. As I said, if you call us and for any reason we are close to you, we have friends. We have what is called AGLA, Association of Ghanaian Lawyers in America. Members are in Texas, Florida, California, and so part of what we do is that we refer cases to colleagues who are close to where the person is calling from. So reach out to us. If we are not close enough, we will still be able to get some members of ours who are close enough to be able to help you as much as possible. Try and keep yourself from trouble, because in the end, if you don't fall into the hands of ICE, or the police, you can. I mean, this era too. That's what I think.
Yeah,
This era too pass. So just all be cautious how we move, and there'll be a new day. Very soon there'll be a new day. Okay, thank you all very much.
And elections have consequences. So, ladies and gentlemen, when election comes, open your eyes. Open your eyes. I know some pastor friends who said they voted for Donald Trump because of LGBT. And I asked him, is LGBT only sin in the Bible? We see LGBT only thing in the Bible. So if the sole reason why you voted for Donald Trump is LGBT, now you see what we are experiencing. When election comes, please open your eyes and vote for someone who can, who support your needs, who will be able to help you, who will be able to, I don't know what to say, but elections have consequences. I rest my case.
Okay.
Okay,
Number no.
okay, me pacho number no ma membobo number ni biem na number no
No so my.
me pacho eda page ne so dada
Obi wa ya ni ehun do ko man.
me pacho you lawyer Ramsey Awuku number 646 284 2186. Lawyer Ramsey Awuku 646 284 2186. Lawyer Addo number Lawyer Kwadwo Addo-Prempeh number ye 917 400 9407 917 400 9407. Lawyer Kwadwo Addo-Prempeh number. Okay, Jadamu nyina amase mefre Miss Edith Sapon na wama your vote of thanks.
The most maybe you know we did. Thank you so much for our check. On behalf of our chairperson, Reverend C.B. Appleton, and all the ministers in the presbytery, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to Lawyer Addo-Prempeh, who we called Wafa in Manhattan, Lawyer Ramseyer, Hayford, Awuku. God richly bless you for taking time off your busy schedule to come and give us your expertise in this matter. Your advice and guidance has been invaluable, and we are truly grateful. We also appreciate the engagement and thoughtful questions from all the participants, which greatly enhanced the session. Thank you so very much once again to everyone who made this program a success. God richly bless you all. Yaminsha munyina, mama fe, mawunya yirao. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Before we take the